Welcome to the first video in the QML Fluid Elements and Animation series. Animations are what make a user interface feel alive. They give visual feedback, guide attention, and make interactions feel natural. In this video, we're going to start with the foundation of all QML animation, property animation. We'll build a simple project from scratch, animate rotation, scale, position, and color, and along the way, you'll see how sequential animation, parallel animation, and behavior all fit together. Let's jump in. Open Qt Creator and create a new Qt Quick application. Set up your project with a name and folder of your choice, ensuring you select a desktop kit for your desktop platform and the latest Qt version. In our case, we are using Qt 6.7 for macOS. Once the project is created, with the main.qml file open, we can set up our playground for animations. Let's import Qt Quick Controls so we can create an application window and set its width, height, and give the application an appropriate title. Inside the application window, we will create a rectangle that will serve as the item to animate. We will give it an ID of animated rectangle, set its width and height, and give it an initial color and position. Now we will introduce the property animation to bring our rectangle to life. We will animate the rotation property of animated rectangle to make it rotate 360 degrees continuously. Property animation provides a way to animate changes to a property's value, enabling you to animate a property from one value to another smoothly. Property animation can be used in various ways to animate different properties of QML items. As a transitions element, it can be used to animate property changes when a state changes. In a behavior element, it can be used to animate property changes when the property value changes. As a property value source, it can be used to repeatedly animate a property value. In a signal handler, it can be used to animate a property value in response to a signal. Or as a standalone element, it can be used to animate a property value in a declarative way. Let's start with the standalone approach. We can declare the property animation element and set the target to animated rectangle, so the animation applies to it. Setting the from and to values to 0 and 360 respectively, so that the rectangle rotates a full circle. We will set the duration to 2000 milliseconds and the easing type to in-out quad to make the start and end smooth. Finally, we will set running to true to start the animation automatically and loops to animation infinite to make the rotation indefinite. Now when we run the application, we will see the rectangle rotating continuously, easing in and out at the start and end of each rotation. Next, let's take a look at how to sequence animations. Sequence animations are useful because they allow you to create complex animations by combining multiple animations one after another. This can help you create more dynamic and engaging animations that are more interesting and reactive to user input. The sequential animation element is used to create sequence animations in QML. Let's use it to scale the rectangle up and down. We will add a sequential animation element below the existing property animation. Inside the sequential animation, we can declare property animation elements in the order we want them to run. We can also set the running property to true to start the animation automatically and loops to animation infinite to make the animation indefinite. We can add two property animation elements to scale the rectangle up and down. The first property animation will increase the scale of the rectangle to 1.5, and the second property animation will decrease the scale back to 1.0. We can also add a pause animation element between them to pause for 500 milliseconds before scaling down. We can also change our property animation elements to number animation as it inherits from property animation and solely focuses on animating numerical values. Now, when we run the application, we will see the rectangle scaling up and down in a continuous loop. Let's anchor the rectangle to the center of the window to view the scaling animation more clearly. If we want to animate multiple properties at the same time, we can use parallel animation. Parallel animation allows you to animate multiple properties simultaneously, creating more complex and engaging animations. Let's animate the X and Y properties of the rectangle simultaneously to move it diagonally across the screen. We want the animation to run by default and continue indefinitely, so we will set running to true and loops to animation infinite. Inside the parallel animation, we can declare two number animation elements to animate the X and Y properties of the rectangle. We will set the from and to values for X and Y to move the rectangle from the top left corner to the bottom right corner of the window. We will set the duration to 2000 milliseconds for both animations. We need to remove the rectangle's anchors to allow free positioning. Now, when we run the application, we will see the rectangle moving diagonally across the screen. Finally, let's look at how to use behavior to create smooth transitions when a property changes. A behavior defines a default animation that automatically triggers whenever the associated property's value changes, regardless of how the change occurs. This is particularly useful when you want consistent animations for property changes initiated from various sources. We can use behavior with ColorAnimation to smoothly transition the rectangle's color. The syntax for using behavior is behavior on property. We will add this within the rectangle and use ColorAnimation to animate the color property of the rectangle. We will set the duration to 1000 milliseconds and the easing.type to in-out quad to make the transition smooth. Let's automate the color change using the timer element. We will toggle the color of the rectangle between red and blue every second. We will use an integer property to flip-flop between two numbers, and depending on the value, we will set the color of the rectangle to red or blue. Let's run the application one more time. We will see the rectangle smoothly transitioning between red and blue every second, scaling up and down, rotating continuously, and moving diagonally across the screen. In this section, we explored the essentials of animating elements in QML using various animation techniques. You learned how to animate properties directly with PropertyAnimation, chain animation sequentially with SequentialAnimation, and run animations concurrently using ParallelAnimation. We also covered behavior to define default animations for property changes, and timer to add automated intervals, creating smooth and dynamic interactions for your UI elements. With these tools, you now have a solid foundation for building engaging animations in QML, bringing your applications to life with fluid, interactive elements. So in this video, we covered a lot of ground. You now know how to animate properties directly with PropertyAnimation, chain them together with SequentialAnimation, run them simultaneously with ParallelAnimation, and use behavior to automatically animate property changes. These are the building blocks you'll use for every animation you create in QML. In the next video, we'll explore easing curves, which let you control the speed and feel of your animations, how they accelerate, decelerate, bounce, and spring.